Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific Northwest, from the good to the bad to the Mariners.
The
The
sweet,
first
sweet
place
Mariners.
Mariners. The first place.
Yes, sir. First place Mariners.
First time we've been able to say this late in the season since 2003.
3. I knew that one. Bang. Got him.
But before we get too far into this episode, guess who's back? Back again. Torrens is back. Tell a friend. Luis Torrens signs a minor league deal to go to the Rainiers. Let's go, Luis Torrens.
When his stick was hot, it was hot back in the day, but it didn't happen very often.
He's the next Shohei. He has one inning
Okay.
pitched, no earned runs. Let's go. That's a 0.00 ERA.
Just give him the Cy Young already.
Zero earnings, baby.
Cy Young. Sign him up.
Before we talk more about Luis Torrens and his comeback story for the ages, why don't I tell you a little bit about us? If you're looking for a guy who doesn't need to make a comeback because he's never gone anywhere, I've been on 100% of these episodes. If you're looking for someone whose name is in the title, maybe you're looking for a guy like me, your boy Coach Red. You can find me on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real _ Coach Red, or hop on over to YouTube, search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. And while you're at it, hop on over and follow the podcast page at Coach Red Pod on Twitter and Insta. Follow, swallows. Do it, freaking do it. And if you're looking for a guy who is like a September call up, he's been around, he's a little pesky, he's got a little fire to him, but you don't really know what the long term prospects are, but you're having fun in September. Maybe you're looking for a guy like Cain.
Oh, yeah, I'm Kane. You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, on YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Kick Kane0624.
Well, how about them Mariners?
Dude, it's been so fun.
Today is the last game they play in the month of August. Today they set the record for most wins in a single month with 21. It's been fun because we haven't had to talk about too many losses during this stretch. And guess what? In the last week since we talked, only one loss. And I can tell you about that loss in great detail because that's the one game that I attended. So yippity skippity. Let's start with
Man,
the Royals.
that's starting to be a trend for you.
Shut your dirty whore mouth. Do not
Hey,
put that evil. Do not put that evil on me, Ricky
hey,
Bobby.
you put it out there that they had a perfect record for your attendance in the last 2 years.
Wasn't
And
perfect, but it was a very high win percentage. I
and
still
you
have a
put
winning
that out in the
record.
universe. You put it in the universe to start.
I still have a
So
winning record this year.
all right. So we're starting off with Kansas City here.
Kansas City game 1 Friday night.
It's a nail biter. I'll tell you that one.
Those
Because
pesky Royals.
dude, when their sticks get going, it's scary. But now they came out with a win 7-5. You know, pretty standard as of late. Just keep on winning. I believe, in the last whole month they were on 2 8-game winning streaks. And as you said, they broke the records. They won a lot. Um Brady Singer comes out, gets the loss, and pitching just is
It was nice
solid.
that, well, JP, first pitch of the game goes bomb squad off of Brady Singer,
And
who,
sets his new career high for the
yeah,
year.
he keeps doing it every time he hits a homer.
It's true. He's at 12.
And Brady Singer actually pitched extremely well against the Mariners in the last series they played. So
Yes.
it was good to get on him early and often.
But it's also good to see the Mariners had the lead going into the fifth. I mean, they had in the fourth, but they kept adding on. Just super huge to see, and this is also a positive trend. Another game, 16 hits. This team is just red hot.
Speaking of a high number of things, how about a high number of runs on Saturday, where 7 home runs were hit, a grand slam by Teo. He clocks in with another. Julio goes yard. Righty Cal makes an appearance with a dinger. Who else do we have in that game? I think Gino went yard in that game. Everyone was doing it. It was super cool.
Uh, Cade Marlowe hit one lefty lefty dead center.
Oh,
That
that
was
ball
pretty sick.
tanked.
That was pretty sick. Yeah, and then Teo homered again, absolutely crushed, 446. Dude, he's been hitting the shit out of the ball, and it's like he's possessed. I saw some thing pop up on the telecast where it was like his last 15 games, he's hit 384 with just like an average exit velocity of 106.
Yeah, if Julio wasn't on such a heater right now, I mean, Teo would be getting a lot more love.
That's true. But yeah, as you said, Cal Homer just they set the record, another or tied the record for most players in a game or most home runs in a game. So that was pretty cool to see. Pitching was absolutely dominant, and I'm surprised we didn't see 45 straight fastballs.
Yeah, Logan Gilbert goes deep in that game, which you needed it because Bryce throwing.
Yeah, I
Bryce Miller
believe
threw on
so.
Friday, and pitch count got pretty high pretty early. Or no, that was Woo Woo.
Oh, that's right. That's
Woo's
right.
first game back off the IL. Whip 4.
Still pitched well too.
Yep. And then let's see, what do we got? What do we got
Oh,
next?
and
Sunday.
then we had the brooms come out. They swept the Royals off
Teo
Luis
and
Castillo's
Julio.
back. It was Teo and Julio both going yard. Julio had homered in like 3 straight games too. At this point,
That was game 2 in a row for him. He hit one on
that's right.
Sunday for 3 games.
Sorry. Um, I want to also give a huge shout out for Josh Rojas. That dude has been otherworldly.
Nails.
It seems like, dude,
Nails.
I love his bat in the lineup when he's in there. He's starting to figure it out, and 3 absolute moonshots. Love to see it. I just got to give a big shout out to him because I doubted him so hard when we got him.
Yeah. Then you go into the first game against Oakland, and Luis Castillo comes out super strong, gives you another
Uh,
good deep
this
game.
this if we're going to Oakland, is that what we're talking? Or are we still going with Kansas City? Sorry.
Well, we finished off Kansas City. We talked about the sweep.
Yeah, and Luis Castillo pitched that game. Brian
Oh,
Wu pitched this game.
oh yeah, Brian Woo's second game back.
Brian, woohoo!
Pitched Dazzler in this one. I think he ended up getting through 6 while still on an inning with a pitch count on him. They're trying to limit that a little bit more, especially coming off the
69.
inflammation. Julio goes yard again for his
And
third straight game.
JP Crawford also let the game off again with a dinger.
Yep, left on left too.
Yeah. All the lefties on this team can hit lefties. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was good to see. And then let's talk about the day that was Tuesday. The Mariners finally were at the top of the division. Everyone's feeling great. Sole possession. Oof. And then you find out just before game time, George Kirby scratched because he was sick. Julio gets scratched right before game time with soreness in his foot, has a nerve thing going on. And then that leads to Cade Marlowe getting the start in center. That leads to Luke Weaver getting the start on the bump. And then it
Um,
leads to Ty France getting handcuffed with a pickoff at first and leaving the game, and Mike Ford coming in the game. So after the fourth inning, you had on your bench Josh Rojas, Brad O'Keefe, Hurt Julio, and that's it, I think.
Actually, I don't think Tramel's up.
No, that was it. It wasn't a good time.
No. And of course they pitched that bum Luke Weaver.
Weaver did make
Ah,
Weaver did make
a
a play of the
phenomenal play.
year.
Phenomenal play.
Broken bat, slides up the third baseline, throws while coming up, one hop. Mike Ford with the pick. But here's the crazy thing about this game: the Mariners have one hit going into the seventh. They've scored a run because of a multitude of walks, and they have a chance late to win the game. They do not pull it off. Gino has the tying run at second with 2 outs, strikes out swinging. But let's look at the silver lining here. Luke Weaver gave up 3 runs in the first 2 innings,
Yeah.
settled down a little bit. The Mariners gave up 3 runs on the day, and what in fact turned out to be a bullpen game. And
Yeah.
for most of this game, your high leverage guys were not throwing.
No.
Granted, I know that the A's are not the best team in the world. We're all very much aware of this. But to have a straight bullpen day and to only give up 3 runs, you cannot say what that pitching staff did yesterday did not put the Mariners in a place to win. It also didn't help that you felt like all the air was sucked out because you've got one of your hottest throwers on the bump and you have the guy that is playing, besides maybe Mookie Betts, the best player
Yeah.
in baseball right now.
Yeah.
Both are
Mookie's.
removed from the game. It really sucks a little bit of life. Plus, it was the first time I've ever been to a game where the roof was closed in August.
Yeah.
It was a weird day.
Jam packed game. Or not jam packed, but like attendance was booming as everybody saw on the telecast side. Also great for the telecast side. I'm pretty sure it's just been Blowers and Goldie in the booth, and it's been
This series. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yep. It was great. And then we come to today's game.
Oh man,
The A's jump out to a 3-0 lead. And then
man.
Teo hits absolute piss missile into the bullpen to tie the game.
Yeah, he did.
A's get one back in seventh. Bases are juice. JP up to bat. 2-run single to secure the
I'm
series
pretty sure
win.
he was first pitch swinging, frozen rope into left field.
Yep. So that puts the Mariners at just series winning palooza.
Love to see it. That's all they need to keep doing is winning series. They cannot lose a series from here on out. They have to win or tie. That's it. The last 10 games are going to be hell of the season. They
Or
are.
maybe they won't be.
Texas, Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Um, but should we get to player of the week?
No, you finish on player of the week. How long
Oh,
these
whatever.
rookie September
But
call ups just thinking they know how shit goes.
it was a
Weird.
great fighting win from this team today. I love to see the fight still there. You know, they fought back, and it was great to see, especially with Julio missing a second game.
Okay. Let's get into something that I thought of, which was the Mariners in first place. So we're looking at some statistical leaders on the Mariners, giving you a couple of guys that are at the top or near the top of some key statistics for the Mariners, and kind of what do we think is going to happen the rest of the year, who's going to come out on top, and maybe what they're going to end with. So let's get this started with pitchers because there's not as many cool stats to look at for the pitchers because I don't understand what a bunch of the letter things mean, and I don't want to learn them. So
Fair.
we're going to go some old school stats. And the first one we're going to go with is strikeouts. Right now, leader in the clubhouse is Luis Castillo at 181 strikeouts. Number 2 is Logan Gilbert with 153. And clocking in at third is George Kirby with 142. Kane, who do you think will finish the season atop the strikeout list for the Mariners?
What was Castillo at?
181. He's got
Yeah.
almost a 30 strikeout gap ahead of Logan Gilbert.
It's Luis Castillo. Um, he just strikes a lot of dudes out whenever he's on the bump, and he has multiple outings with 10 plus. Logan and Kirby are gonna be neck and neck, I think. Um, George has been picking up as of late, but I think the clear leader this year is going to be Luis Castillo. Also, he could be in conversation for Cy Young
I think
at the end of
all
the
three
year.
of the guys that I named will be pushing for top 10 in Cy Young voting. That's how
Yeah,
good they've been.
I
Uh,
saw a comparison between Luis Castillo and Garrett Cole today. They're basically par for par.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Luis Castillo as well.
Yeah,
He averages more strikeouts. You'll see some games where Logan or Kirby do not have heavy strikeout games, but they have the ability to get a little bit deeper in games because they're not running up the pitch count.
yeah.
But Luis Castillo has been getting you about 7 innings, 6 to 7 innings, and he's clocking at about 9 Ks a game recently. It's going to be really tough to climb that hill for either one of our two young right-handed starters.
If we had Robbie Ray for a full year, I think this would be a little different conversation, but we don't, and it's tough out here.
It's tough at the top. All
Yeah,
right. The next stat I want to talk about is wins. And we're going to talk about four guys. We've got Logan Gilbert, who has 12 wins, Luis Castillo, who has 11, George Kirby clocks in at 10, and with 9 wins and fourth currently in the clubhouse, Matt Brash. Who do you think is going to finish on top of
Logan Gilbert, Logan Gilbert, Logan Gilbert, Logan Gilbert. This team, like, yes, they've been winning a lot, but they also have Logan Gilbert's back every time he's on the mound.
they score runs early for him?
They sure do. And I think that's enough to keep Logan in the lead. Castillo's going to be. They're all so close because they've been so great this year. But I think Logan stands atop.
I'm going to say that it's going to be Matt Brash for the simple fact that the last couple games he kind of was they sat him during the Chicago series. His first game back against the Royals wasn't great, but he pitched pretty well last game against the Royals. Pitched against Oakland last night, looked good. Pitched again today, looked good. So I think that he's kind of getting back to that pivot spot where you need to stop it. So if it's kind of getting a little out of hand, or maybe the other team just took the lead, Brash is going to get in there to shut the door. He's going to have more opportunities to get wins down the stretch because he's going to be on the bump more often. And if these games are going to be as close, the easier part of the schedule is almost done. You've got the A's and the Angels and the Mets one more time, but you have a pesky Reds club coming up.
Tampa.
You do have Texas. You've got Texas for 2 series. You have Houston for another, and you have the Dodgers. So you're going to be playing some pretty good teams or
Yep.
teams that play you very tough. So I think that in the later innings that Matt Brash could eke out a few extra wins, that he could
Yeah.
steal wins from games that the three starters we named started.
Yeah. Don't they go Mets, Tampa, Cincinnati?
Yep, forgot Tampa, another tough team.
That's gonna be fun. I'm gonna talk so much to Ben. Oh, can't wait.
All right. The next category we've got is ERA. I looked at pitchers that have over 30 innings because there's some
Okay.
guys that are under. Um, Leader in the clubhouse right now, Justin Topa, clocking in at a 2.17 ERA. Number two is Andres Munoz with 2.56. Luis Castillo, 3.01. Clocking in at number four right now. Taylor Saucedo at a 3.07. And George Kirby's clocking in at 3.28. Who is going to win the ERA title for the Mariners?
Topa has been great, but I don't think he'll hold it because he has been getting hit around a little bit more recently. Um, who was number two?
Andres Munoz.
Munoz also scares me because he likes to throw a lot of pitches and walk people and do things closers don't do. I'm gonna go with Tyler Saucedo in this one.
Taylor?
Yeah. Saucedo, I love what he has been doing out there. Um, I think that he's really locked it in as of late. And when we saw him come in on that a couple series ago and just have that like all the emotion that he had after the game, I really like what he's putting out there for the M's, and I think he can really, really dial it in and get her done.
I like Topa at the top. He has been pretty dominant for us most of this year. The one guy that I think will push him is Luis Castillo, because Castillo, it's a little bit easier for these guys that are relievers to have that ERA balloon up a little bit because they've thrown less innings. I think
Right.
that with Castillo, he is on an absolute tear right now. He's getting into postseason form, and he's going to be super tough down the stretch. And he always seems to pitch his best when the crowd's into it or when they're facing big time opponents. What you really love to see recently, he's having these lights out performances against inferior competition,
Yep.
because he wasn't doing that at times last year. He'd get up for the Yankees when the Yankees were in the hunt. He'd get up for the Blue Jays and pitch like a
And
boss. And then
yeah,
you watch him just stink it up against Oakland. So it's good to see that switch a little bit here as the season has gone on. But what Toba has done this entire year has been nothing short of stellar, and I hope that he gets all the dues that he deserves and finishes on top of the class with the ERA title for the Mariners.
I do love me some Justin Topa. I really do. He has been I every time he gets on the mound, I'm just like, man, this was just a dude at the beginning of the year. He was just a dude. And now he's the man. Like, ah, love it.
All right, we're going to get into some offensive categories here. I've got five. We'll start with some that should be a little bit easier to gauge than others. First, we're going to go with the stolen bases. We've got
Oh,
Julio Rodriguez clocking in with 35, and number two on the team is Jose Caballero with 25.
it's no competition. It's
Yep,
none.
Jose
Who
Caballero is going to run his wee little legs to first place. What a
who
real
it's
comeback story.
oh, it's story of the year. No, it's Julio Rodriguez. The dude has been a menace lately. It seems like every game he has one or two.
I'm going to throw a wrench in your plans with, I think that Cabby could surprise and make a comeback, because here's why. Julio Rodriguez, he's dealing with a foot injury. They're probably going to try and nurse him. They're probably going to turn off the light a little bit, his green light on trying to steal as many bases. With the way that Josh Rojas has played and the aggressiveness and sometimes a little bit too aggressiveness on the base path, Cabby can get you in trouble. But what Cabby does do is sometimes takes two bases. He's going to be your go-to late inning runner, when you need a run and you need some speed, Rojas is going to be starting, so he's going to get a lot more of these opportunities. So I could see Cabby slowly sneaking in, especially if they start putting bringing in the reins a little bit on Julio. 10 stolen base difference this late in the season is a pretty big gap to bridge, but Cabby has had multiple stolen bases per
Right.
per appearance very recently.
I mean, right, but there's still like once Julio is finally like feeling better, they're not gonna completely red light him.
There's a nerve issue in his foot.
I'm
They
aware of that.
don't know how it popped up.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's what I'm saying. It's like they're not going to be like, yeah, Julio, let's get you stealing bases coming in hard with your feet.
I would just say like if he ends up being all right at some point, they're not gonna completely red light him.
I still
They're just
think that
not
he's going to still win. But
good.
all right, let's go to the next statistic hits. Right now, we've got Julio in first place with 153. In second place is Teoscar Hernandez with 136. And in third place is Ty France with 124.
Again, it's Julio. That's a lot. 20?
It's 17.
Okay, let's round up though. Let's round up. That's
Okay.
what we're gonna do here.
18. Why don't we just use the exact number?
Whatever. I don't that's a lot to end the season. Like especially if he gets back in the lineup and swings, I mean, they might throw him at DH.
True, but Teo's also been very hot lately
That's
too.
true.
Very
That's
hot.
true. I don't know if you get a fully. It's a lot of what ifs because like if Julio doesn't come back to the postseason, then Teo's gonna win most likely.
He'll
But
be back out there. They haven't put him in
exactly,
IR or anything.
exactly.
All right, we're in agreement. It's Julio. All right, let's go to RBIs. This one's a fun one.
I like this one.
Top top dog right now is Julio Rodriguez with 87. You've got Eugenio Suarez at 83 and Teoscar at 81.
I'm gonna go with Teo on this one. He is red hot, as we were saying. The grand slam solo shots. The dude is doing it all.
3 run
Um,
dingers today.
that's true. He did hit 3 run dinger. I was absolutely pissed on. Um, later in the lineup, as he gets
Fourth.
4 or 5. He has more opportunity for more RBIs. He's got more people in front of him. At the start of the game, Julio gets that a little dropped off because it's either him or him and JP. So I and Gino cools off from time to time, but he still finds a way to get be the pesky guy in there. But I think Teo just has more power, and I believe he's going to get to 30 plus home runs by the end of the year.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Gino because he's consistently batting three, even though he does have these swings. I've heard this multiple times from the Mariners broadcast. No one's had more at bats with runners in scoring position than Eugenio Suarez. And right now, with the lineup the way it's constructed, those guys are JP Crawford, who I've said on this show multiple times, takes some of the best angles in baseball getting around the base path. And you got the
He's
pure speed of Julio. So I think that you're going to be able to see him pick up a lot of 2 RBI on one hit performances
That's
here down
fair.
the stretch.
That's
So
fair.
I'm going to stick with Gino.
Okay. Okay.
All right, we've got 2 categories left, and we're going to go with doubles to start. First place is Julio Rodriguez with 31. In second place with 30 is Ty France. Third place at 28 is JP Crawford. We've got 26 for Teoscar Hernandez. And the ultimate wild card, 7 behind Julio, Jared Kelnick. With missing a month plus.
Yeah. I still think it's Julio. I do. The dude has the speed to get there all the time. And I think Ty France gonna stay in second. He's a doubles machine. I just think Julio will have more at the end of the year. Coach Red, who do you think will
Give
have the
me the
most wins?
machine. You just called him a doubles machine. Give me Ty France. Um, the pop's coming back a little bit. He's putting the ball over the fence, but where Ty shines is gap to gap and
Yep.
put the ball in the corners. And I think that you're going to see an emphasis on this, especially with him batting, sixth in the lineup right now, which I think is a good spot with the way that this team is
Yes.
constructed and without he's hit for a majority of the season, with likes of Teoscar heating up, Julio and JP at the top, Gino with the ultimate power, and Cal Raleigh getting hot down the stretch like he usually does. I think this is a great spot. You've got guys in front of him. He's going to be able to drive them in. But I think that's the sweet spot for Ty France is you want to see him. If you can have him be 30, where she's at right now, 30 to 40 double guy and clock him with 20 homers, he's the first baseman this team needs. And if you can clock him with a batting average of about 275, feeling even better. So,
Yeah.
but he's going to do a lot of that, and he's your best gap to gap guy. So I'm going to go with Ty France.
All righty.
Let's finish with the dingers, the home runs. There's really only three guys in
Meat and
contention.
potatoes.
We've got two home runs separates the top from third. At number one, we've got Cal Raleigh clocking in with 25 homers.
Sir.
At 24, we've got Julio Rodriguez. At 23, Teoscar Hernandez.
Give me big dumper all day. All day. Um I believe that this team's gonna have multiple guys at 30 plus. I do. Um and they could have all three, but Cal Raleigh has been seeing the ball so well lately and is just sending them out left and right. And yes, Teo is really heating up, but I just Cal Raleigh swings too sweet, man. Love it. Give me big dumper. Coach Red.
I'm also going to go with Cal Raleigh.
Yes, sir.
I think that it's going to be very close. Or, no, take it back. Three-way tie at the top. Three-way tie at
That
the
would
top.
be awesome, wouldn't it?
All clocking in at about 30, 34 to 35. Yeah, I'll
Like
take
it.
that. Because the thing is, especially when you got guys that are power hitters, Julio is a power hitter, but he does a lot more with the stick. But Teo and Cal Raleigh are power type guys, and power type guys that are home run hitters, which is what both of them are primarily at this point in their careers. They come in bunches, and you've seen that with Teoscar. In the past 5 games, Teoscar is clocked in with 4
Yeah.
homers in 5 games. It's pretty good. That guess what? Teoscar was at 19 before last weekend.
Yeah.
19. Last Friday, he was at 19. Now he's at 23.
It's
Just
great to see. It's great to
it's a
see.
pretty good jump in 5 calendar days.
But I just love me some big dumper.
I'm aware. All right. Why don't you tell us who else you love in your Mariner of the Week?
My Mariner of the week is Teoscar Hernandez. Um, as we've said multiple times, he's been unreal. And 1923 home runs, and especially in his last however many games, I believe it was like 10 games, 384. Dude's been unreal. Give me tail all day. Coach Red, who do you have?
My Mariner of the Week. I'm going to give a very special Mariner pitcher of the week because I was not going to pick a pitcher, and I think that the pitching has performed extremely well. Give me
That's
Brian Wu as Mariner of the Week for the
Brian
pitching
Woohoo.
staff because whoa got me all feeling all sorts of something because since he's come back, he's been nothing but efficient. He's
Yes.
looked extremely good. His strikeouts are coming back. His fastball is doing some things that are making some hitters weak at the knees. And he's a guy that you're going to need, especially down the stretch. And for him to do what he's done, granted against lesser competition, coming back, this is big, and it's good to see. But my mayor of the week is J.P. Crawford, the
Love
first
JP
pitch
Crawford.
blitzer, the clutch hitzer, and probably the best DJ mixer on the whole team. I bet he's got the best playlist in the whole dugout. Playing great defensively. He's being pesky on the base pass by taking that extra base. There were so many times that Julio was heating up or JP scoring for first and second on balls that most guys aren't doing it on. And he is back off the IR and a little slow in the Chicago series, but once you hit games against the Royals and the A's, he's been a catalyst at the top of the lineup, which is what
Back to
you
what he
love
was
to
doing.
see.
I mean, he's been great, dude. Like he's done this almost all year.
Yeah, it's fun. And what you should be doing the rest of this year is following us on social media. You can find me,
Got him.
boy Coach Red, on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. Also, find us over on YouTube. Search Kicking It with Coach Red. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, leave a comment or two. And while you're at it, hop on over to the podcast page at Coach Red Pod on Twitter and Insta. Hey, follow us, follow us, follow us. Do it, freaking do it. Kane, where you at?
You can find me on Twitter at Kane2406, on YouTube at Kane06, TikTok and Kick Kane0624.
And take care of our beloved Luis Torrens. The to come Rainiers. We may need
Praise
him
be.
sooner than later if Tom Murphy can't come off the IR. I think that Luis Torrens will be coming in late in the year in place of Brian O'Keefe. Our long lost son has now been found. But hey, as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.